Hey, welcome back to the Pike Homestead. I'm Adam, and today we're going to work on some more stuff for the chickens. So, if you'll recall from our project last year of turning the barn into a better, larger, more permanent chicken coop, one of the things I hadn't done was build their outside door yet. So now we finally are losing our snow. So it's nice and sunny and beautifully warm out. I mean, like, look at this. I'm not even having to wear a jacket or even a sweater, you know. So it's that time of year where we can get our chickens out and enjoying the weather, enjoying, being outside, doing the pastured poultry type of thing. They'll still be free run for the time being because the snow is only just melted away, so we'll hopefully be getting those panels moved and get their actual run set up right down there relatively soon, but it's not there yet. So anyway, and as you can see, we've got some bulls still on the property, and we'd like to have them while they're making their deposits down there. I'm sure you can see a few of the landmines. And having chickens go through those and dig them up and scratch them out and spread them out it's just good for the land. So I'd like to get that started. Anyway, so I've got to put in a door back there somewhere to let the chickens out. We'll be letting the hens and their one rooster out and giving them some fun. So anyway, to go with that, so the question is, what do you need for chicken door? So I'm going to be putting the door in right around down here, just beside the nesting boxes. But you need to know how big to make it, and most of internet research will show you that you want it to be 12 to 14 inches high and 10 to 12 inches wide. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to try to cut it around 14 tall and 10 wide. But I've also got to go through the wall. So like I've got these boards down here that I need to cut through. And again, conventional wisdom is to have it, a few inches up off the ground. And I'm going to do that. I'll be starting. You can see the wall boards here that were put in for, to stop cattle or whatever from kicking holes in the wall. Those are 6-inch boards. So I'm going to just I'm going to put it on top of the bottom board there and cut into the other two on top, maybe a bit higher. Now for this door, I'm just going to do it quick and easy. I'm going to make it similar to how I did in my original chicken coop build, where it's just a slide. So it's going to be bracketed in, and we just slide it down to close it, and just have a panel that's a little bigger than the hole. And then for winter, I want to be building a slightly thicker door and putting it on hinges and stuff to put in there to help with controlling the cold and stuff, and whether we just have some insulation that we put in there for winter, because once the snow's 2 feet outside, the chickens aren't going to be going out much. I may do that, I may not, because long-term goal, I also want to be having kind of a covered area out there, with a roof overhead and a wall on the west side, because that's where we get most of our wind from. So that's where most of the snowdrifts will come from. So if I have a wall there to kind of stop that, I mean, we will a bit with the pen we're going to build when we put in the paneling. So I'll just see how that goes, and if I can have it where they've got a covered area or a clear area of snow that they can be going out and pecking around on nicer days, then that's what we'll do. But I'll conquer that when I get to it. We don't need it right now. What we need is a way to get the ladies outside. So I'm going to get started on measuring and setting that up, and start cutting into the wall. I've got the stuff I need to kind of frame it in once it's in. Because again, our walls here, they're all based on if they're anything like what I did in the front half when I was closing up the around the window there and everything, it should be about a 6-inch gap. Same with around where I put in the heating duct. So it should be about a 6-inch gap. They seem to be using, 6-inch studs and everything. So that should be about my depth. I've got some 6-inch board that I can put in there and frame it in really nicely so I don't have chickens loose in the walls. All right, I'm gonna get started on that. So let's keep rolling. So a couple days later, because that's how we roll here on the Pike Homestead, where we get little bits done here and there. So I'm here to start, measuring out where I need to cut my door for the chickens. So what I'm looking at, because with a wooden wall, it's pretty easy to tell. There's actually a line of nails wherever there's a stud to hold up the wall boards, which is fantastic. It gives me a general idea on where I want to be putting this, and so I can just use my my stud sensor here to find out just where the edge of the sensor is, or the stud is, so that I can cut right there, because that's going to be one wall of the doorway. So I'm going to do that and start measuring out, marking where I want to put my door. So measuring this out actually turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. The boards are actually, the two boards together are just under 14 inches. So that works out perfectly. So I've just got 2 cuts really, and then I can just pry those bits of board out. So I'm going to get the saw set up and start doing that. So normally for something like this, I'd be measuring the boards and lining up my saw so that it just goes through it. But because I've got these boards behind to go through, I'm just going to go as deep as I can. The reason you do that is to avoid kickback when you're cutting through. If the blades are going too far through, it might catch and kick back rather than cut. But I think with the thickness of these boards, and then the fact that I'm going into this back here to at least score it, if not outright cut it, I think I've got the leeway to do a full depth cut. Solid enough for now. And you chickens now have access to outside. Alright, so I gotta tighten up a few things here. that's pretty much done. And now I just got to build a door on the outside. Or should I put it here? There'll be easier access on this side. Maybe I'll put it here. So what we're doing for the door here is similar to, it's exactly what I had on our original chicken coop that I built 2 years ago, which is just a slide up and down. Make it a little larger and a little bit more buff than that one, because it was definitely, in the short time we had the chickens in that coop before we moved here, it was definitely starting to show its wear and tear. So using some heavier wood, give myself a little bit more in the way of allowances for it to move. And just basing it on something a little stronger than just more plywood. Are you done? Chip is very disturbed this morning. That's because we're doing some big work. Alright, so I've cut my guide panels here, and they have lots of room to completely cover this and not block the door inside, because the door is actually much smaller than this. But I just wanted to give tons of overage for it, so that I have more room to put in screws and everything to hold it tight. So part of the problem we had with the original was the fact that I'd made it so small. I didn't have enough space all around the door to really reinforce it properly. And it was all, plywood underneath this as well, which wasn't holding as well. I also didn't have the depth because it was plywood on plywood on plywood, so I didn't have the depth to drive a really big screw through it, because then I'd have the screws poking through on the other side and poking chickens, and I did not want that. So this time I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it was just the stresses of me pulling it up and down every day. The single screws holding in the back plate and the single screws just holding on the top plate were starting to work their way free. And so, I don't want to repeat of that. So I'm probably going to overkill on the screws, but I want this to be kind of a permanent installation here. Now, that said, this isn't going to be really suitable to have here in the winter. So what I'm going to do later on in the summer is build a thicker, bigger door on the outside that will just stay open all through the good weather. And then once winter comes, I can just close it up and do a better weather and temperature seal, so that we're not getting that minus 40 coming right in through here. Even that's infinitely better. It's got a little bit of wiggle room so it'll slide easily. I have an idea for locking and securing it and also being able to hold it up, because that's one thing I never actually built into the last slide door I did like this. So I just kind of propped it up every day, if not just taking it right off. So I want to be able to just slide it up and leave it there, and hopefully these fools won't be, roosting on it. But they're chickens, and chickens do what chickens do. Yes, it's your door outside, Chip. So I'm also going to frame in the bottom as well. I want to put a small lip here, just to stop, because even though we're mostly above freezing, it still gets a little cold, and I don't know. It just pleases me to stop the draft. If I can get this screw to go in. Bit of a tight squeeze. Okay. Alright, so I have this little lip here that I want to plant right there, and also give a little bit of overlap. So, I'm going to put you there. Okay. Hi. So that's it. It's been a couple of days now. The chickens have had their chance to run around. The guineas have experienced being outside for the very first time. They got lost the first day. They were stuck out in some of the cattle pens on the wrong side of the barn and not quite sure where to go. And they had a couple of the younger hens there who I'm pretty sure had never been outside hanging out with them. So I managed to managed to get the hens back in. Once you get them around where the door is, they hop right up. But the guineas, they wouldn't even see the door. They'd be busy running back and forth. So I actually had to get Harrison to come out that evening, and we had to kind of coax them into the pens where the pigs are with the barn door open, and finally got them inside that way. So we really need to get our chicken run walls put out, which will be happening fairly soon here. Just need to, get use of our neighbor and his tractor for a bit to get them moved. And once we get that done, we'll be fantastic, because the chickens are still coming in the back door of the barn like they're used to. Ribby wants to say hi. So we want to get that done so that they're using the chicken door more, rather than having to be let in once they're already in the barn. But, it's great growth for them. We're happy with it. So tell me what you think. What do you think we should work on next for our chickens here? I'm saying it's the chicken run. I don't think there's much else we need to do with them right now, but they're fine running around everywhere and helping with all the cow poo. So anyway, thanks for spending your time with me today, and we'll see you on the next one.